Hey everyone, we have another box opening today, and my commentary alongside it will be regarding the Hasbro Fireside chat, as that is the major news of the past week. I will mention, in terms of openings, I have a couple things I've never opened up on camera before here. I have two items. One is a booster pack that I've never owned in my life, and another one is a booster box I've owned. It's vintage, but I don't think I've ever opened it on camera before. It's possible I'm wrong on that, but it's been a long time since I've purchased one of these. So, as we break on through these, we'll talk a little bit about Fireside Chat. So, my first impressions of the Fireside Chat are as follows. They said a lot through their corporate speak. They didn't ultimately say a lot outside of corporate speak. So you kind of have to read between the lines of what they mean by what they said, and I put out a video kind of interpreting that. It's very clear that this was an investor podcast, right? It was not at all for the players. I wish they would have made it slightly more for the players. At the very least, I get its investor call. I do wish, while they addressed some of the topics players cared about, it was pretty clear they basically didn't vet it with any players, right? I can't imagine they would have said what they said and put any average representative player listening to it up against and asking them, is this any good? And having that player or fan or whatever say, yes, this is we approve of this message. So it does look like they could put a little bit more work into, while I think the investors would have liked what they heard and was overall fine, I don't think it actually moved the stock very much. But I still think it's good to communicate with the investors, Hasbro stock, right? And keep them aware of what's going on and address what Bank of America said. However, Bank of America basically said, we're downgrading you because of how you've treated the community. And the community's all up in uproar. And they didn't actually seem to vet that with any of the community at all. And that, not that I'm saying it should have changed any of their actual content. So it's, it's just how they messaged it was not the most good. Okay, looks like we have a couple of slabs here with, there we go, taped in there. You will see we have The Dark booster pack, but in Italian. So I've never owned a booster pack of The Dark. I'm saying that slowly. Yeah, I've never owned a booster pack of The Dark. I've owned booster box before, but I've never owned any of The Dark, but Italian either. Whether English or Italian, the two languages is made in. Normally, I don't go into foreign languages too much. I say that having next to me here, I never put away a German booster pack of 4th edition. But I opened that up on camera. But that's because I normally keep anything that's foreign language aside. It's just, I'm starting to venture a little into it. It's not something I'm going to regularly do. It just expands too many sealed product at that point. I like to focus in on the English stuff. But, to get my first pack of The Dark for a reasonable price, looks reasonably good condition, well packaged, all that. It looked like did not pay $75. But, seemed like a good deal. Wanted to get it. Anyway, on the Fireside Chat, they could have worded things better. In particular, they completely denied the reprint side of things on how they are printing too many things, when clearly they said previously to investors and all alike that they had a items in stock problem, inventory problem, where they had way too much inventory that they need to get rid of. And that's just a fact. They did overprint. Now, they did word it in a way that made it so they're not lying that they had this problem. They were saying they don't have a systemic overprinting problem, and they print to demand in different waves, right? And I think that's true. I think the key is that they did not change their first print run amount between the hype of 2020 and 2021 into the lows of 2022 because they print all this stuff a little bit ahead of time for first runs, and they can't predict how the market's going to be coming up next. So with that, they quite frankly, I think, expected it to continue from 2020 and 2021, all the hype and TCGs, and it didn't. The market fell, everything fell. Everything went down in sales. And they're not the only ones that suffer from inventory overload. All retailers had a ton of inventory overload. And they wanted to say, basically, we're still going to do first print runs, and if there's demand, second and third print runs, like they did with Warhammer 40k. And I do think that's the right approach. But they do need to tune down their first print run because clearly they screwed over the LGSs. That was my point in the video I made. They had so much extra inventory they had to get rid of it somehow, so they dumped it on Amazon for lower than then LGSs had to buy it themselves, let alone sell it for any kind of profit. Now, I am not an LGS, right? I don't buy new product, I only buy vintage, so I don't have a stake in saying this and defending the LGS outside of you do want LGSs to survive, or you can't play in Paper Magic with your local community easily, right? And so I don't think they are going to kill the LGS. I think they did the LGS no favors this past year, but I do think they are looking to support the LGS still and not just go around their back and get higher margins by selling on Amazon or whatever. But, you know, that is the area of all the comments, the one I'm most iffy on. They do seem to have ways of going around the LGSs that they're interested in, like secret layers and things like that. And who knows, you know, it's possible I'm wrong on this and they kill the LGS eventually. I think that'd be bad for their business in the long term, but, you know, it's possible. So that's kind of the major points. With Magic 30th, you know, they really did need to make sure the secondary market was well supported, and I do think they cut the sale early, and that basically confirmed what I was speculating on all along and guessed, that they cut the sale early in order to make sure the items were rare and supported on the secondary market. Now, it is interesting. We have new auctions up on eBay where you can see the old ones were going between $1,600 and $2,000 for a box of Magic 30th. We have a recent auction that went for $12.95, I think it was, on eBay. And Rudy did a whole video about it, and I agree with this video that, you know, prices, you know, that's an indicator prices will be coming on down, and they're inevitably going to be coming down as the boxes hit the stores, because yes, the stores are probably going to have more boxes in population than anyone had bought, and as such, the price will go down. Now, it does matter what the stores want to sell the boxes for. I think most stores will just go ahead and say, look, I'm just going to price this around... Well, most stores that don't care and want to get rid of it right away, they might price it right around $1,000, sell it in person that way, and that way they have no fees or anything, and they just get a quick $1,000 because there were more people willing to buy at $1,000 than Wizards let happen, okay? So I think they will be able to sell them at $1,000. They might sell it for even more than that because, again, prices right now, the very lowest price we've seen is $12.95. Maybe it was $13.95. I might be misremembering my amounts. Sorry, I know this isn't the highest quality video. I do these all on the fly. I think it might have been $13.95. But anyway, that's a lot lower than the $1,600 to $2,000 that we were seeing. You know, some of that could be shill bidding. There's pretty much evidence that there was shill bidding involved on the other auctions. But still, if you think of it, it was $12.95 because I remember it was a 30% profit I was thinking. So if you bought it and flipped it, even if you sold it for $1,300, you're getting a 30% profit. Now, there's eBay fees, which is not insignificant. You do have to ship the item, that should be fairly cheap. But, you know, there are other things that cut into that 30%, but still, buying 1 week and selling it the next for even like a, you know, let's call it a 20% profit, or honestly, even a 5% profit. that's a pretty good easy flip. I did not buy any of them. I did not want to support pushing this product, but people did buy it and look to flip, and they got supported for doing so. I do think it'll still, even after all the stores get their product, remain at $1,000 or above for quite some time. It is possible that if everyone decides to dump them right away, they could crash and then come back up. So you'll get people buying lower in order to try to sell at 1,000. You get the idea. But I do think those collector boxes is fairly high risk, but I would imagine they're still a good investment in all honesty. Now, what they're going to do with reprinting reserved lists down the line in some way, shape, or form, or put even the remaining boxes that they didn't sell or give to stores to the market, now that's an open question, and that might make you not want to hold these too long term when new news comes out that there's more ways to get to these cards. I personally like to avoid anything that I'm really not confident in, or in terms of investing. And as such, I just avoid what I don't know. And Magic 30th is something that I will say I don't know. Whereas Vintage Magic, like Visions boxes, I do know. And I will invest in these. And honestly, everyone that's looking at collecting, enjoying old Magic, I've seen, Kitchen Table Magic had put up his list of his most collectible items in Magic, and sealed vintage boxes were his S tier for I actually don't even know what those S, A, B, C, D, E, F tiers really represent, but S is something like super. It's outstanding, above an A, and basically Power 9, really old, original, Alpha, Beta, Unlimited cards, and sealed boxes from Reserved Era are in the top. And even he didn't even go as far to say Reserved Era. I think his example was an Onslaught box, which that's not Reserved Era, but it's still within that age of Magic that is so old and nostalgic that we're talking anything. I kind of look at anything from 2005 and earlier as the key what I tend to buy in sealed boxes. I don't exclude later than that, but I really don't have much that is later than that. So yeah, we have a Visions box here, part of the Mirage block. I haven't bought one of these in a long time. Like Mirage, these have crashed, right? I think I've opened several Mirage boxes and told you how the price has gone from, at one point being how much are people paying? $5,000 to $6,000, down to around $3,000 to $4,000. You can sometimes find them cheaper in the mid 2000s. I think we had one go on Heritage Auction for $2,100 or something like that, which was just a steal. But obviously they crashed a lot. I think that these are boxes that crashed more than they should have, where in this recession time and everything, and they will see a reversion to the mean. So I do recommend stocking up on things like Visions right now and Mirage boxes, especially given they've given such a hard decline. I think it will be a while before they get back up to the $5,000 to $6,000 range, so don't expect it to be a quick flip, right? This is more, you hold on to these boxes for 5 to 10 years, and then you'll see a return out of it. But I do think that they will probably beat the stock market in terms of jumps like that. But again, this is not financial advice. I don't know. I'm speculating. I diversify between putting in these boxes and putting in the stock market, so ultimately I don't lose out either way. But my big thing is, don't do it at all if you don't love it. I just love these boxes. I ultimately... I do buy and sell all the time, but part of the reason I buy is, I guess I'm quoting Kitchen Table TCG a lot here, but like him, I like draft boxes because down the line, let's say I get into retirement and these don't sell, I'm just going to draft them with my friends. And you can't, wait that long and pick up these boxes because it'll cost a fortune. So they already kind of cost a bit of a fortune. So they're an affordable fortune for me now, and for a lot of people out there. So get them now because down the line, they're going to become the new... you know, like boxes I would never be able to get, like Antiquities, which is like 55,000 to 60,000. I've never been able to get anything near an Antiquities box or a Legends box or anything like that. The oldest Four Horsemen box I ever bought, I opened on this channel, which is the Dark booster box, and that's about the range, you know, roughly the 10 grand per box. You know, I've had Urza Saga as well and revised. That's about the range that I top off at. And past that, it's just not within reach. So, anyways, I'm getting to a little longer video that I like to do for my box openings, but I'm you know, off on a tangent. Ultimately, the Fireside chat told me more than I expected to have in a worse way, you know, not geared towards the players than I expected them to put their due diligence in on. And they're stupid stuff they commented on, like the not following the secondary market. That's BS. They are taking part in the secondary market by doing these kind of reprints. Now, again, they said it in a way that's technically right. They do not benefit from secondary market in terms of once they sell their item to the first person, they don't get a fee when you resell it, right? Like, somebody sold this to me, I did not buy it from Wizards. They are seeing zero of that money of me buying this. So they are not technically wrong that they do not benefit or gain anything from the secondary market. But when they start using the secondary market to become first market, right, selling cards that are reprints or looking at the rarer cards and prices and leveraging that to release new product, then they are, in that way, participating in the second market, and they didn't lie to you. They just beat around the bush. So, yeah, things like that they say make me not too happy about the company. I've actually been supporters of them overall in how many different products they released and, you know, trying to keep people down to earth about, you know, they are a company, they are looking to make a profit. I understand that. And I actually do like a lot of their design. I think they've made really fun sets for drafts recently, and that's how I mostly play Magic, so I have been happy. And I don't participate in every single set, so I don't get quite the fatigue that other people get. But I do understand when people are trying to follow it all, and you know, they're raising the prices and they're coming out with so many product, and it can get tiring. So I'm sort of in the middle on that. I don't like to, I'm not one to cater to the humdrum of people with all the negativity. I want to give you like it is. This is ManaTutor. I want to be able to tell you the facts and give you my opinion of them without just being an echo chamber. But I will say the Fireside chat, they definitely did not word it for the community, and I think that was a miss. So anyways, let me know more of, like, I know I kind of have a little bit unique opinion on things like Magic 30th and the Fireside chat. That's sort of in between, you know, the outrage and the Wizards is doing everything right. I'd be curious to know what topics you'd like me to do face-up videos for. I did say in one of my recent videos that I would do less of that because it is time-intensive. But, you know, every now and then I just enjoy taking the time and kind of walking the community through my thoughts on things. I think it's been helpful to the few of you that are big fans, and you know, I want to hear more about what kind of areas you want me to chime in on. So thanks again for following along, especially through this long, almost like 20-minute video here, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.